Think about how the top people in the world succeed. And then think about your own marketplace and think about the top people in your marketplace or just the top people you're aware of that you've learned about. And ask yourself this simple question. What is different about them and you? And why do they succeed where other people are struggling? The math is important to understand. There's a grid. It's you've got an x-axis and then you got a y-axis, and the y-axis is a hockey stick. And as that hockey stick, you start getting into that hockey stick, you get logarithmic acceleration up. That's overnight success on a rocket ship. You're sitting on a rocket ship. You'll know when it happens. You'll feel it. And getting up that curve, you're in the 20%, then you're in the 4%, then you're in the 1%, and then you're off. And then it's unlimited. Potential is unlimited for everyone in the planet. We don't know this. It's true, though. Why are you stuck on the x-axis down here? Why? Why is 96% of the people stuck on the x-axis? I'll tell you why. There's a reason. The difference is simple. People who are going to already be in this top 1% because they bought in, they got in because they went to a top school, MIT, Harvard, Yale, INSEAD, Grande École in France, whatever it is, they got in. Or they were in a frat and something like that, and they got a job that was going to get them up. It didn't matter what they did, as long as they didn't screw up. Or somebody who got in a corporation or an industry somehow and got mentored up. And those people don't have a huge risk. They're company town people too. People in maybe, I think LA, you got to earn it no matter what. It's a little different. San Francisco, you go to Stanford, you go in an incubator, you got good tech skills, you'll get funded. You just have to learn how to ask for the buddy. You don't have to be that good. You have to be good enough and have a good idea that people buy into. And now you're already here because you went to Stanford. So you don't have to deal with this x-axis problem like the rest of us, like me, my whole life. I've been on the x-axis my whole life and I go up every time. And how? Force of will and pain and struggle. And I thought a few years ago, there's got to be a better way to do this. And there is. And I confused the way. And I'm going to tell you what actually works and what I tried and then what actually works. And it's almost the opposite. It's almost the exact opposite. How do you get into this 20%, 4%, 1% and onto that rocket ship? Exponential growth turns into logarithmic acceleration. The math works that way. It's always worked that way throughout human history. We misunderstand this, though, because we think we're grading on a curve. We're not grading on a curve. There is no grading on a curve because you're playing your own game on the X and Y axis. Grading on a curve is the mistaken thinking. That's the hierarchy thinking. That's the celebrities up here are pulling me up if I do what they want or they tell me to do, or if I can be like them or figure it out, I get up here. That's grading on a curve. Why? Because not everybody gets to win. There's bottom. The curve is set by the top 1%, 4%, 20%, and everybody else is screwed. This has changed because of money. Now everything's cheap. You can do anything you want and you can be anything you want globally. So it's completely changed. The game is completely changed, but the thinking hasn't changed fast enough. And this is the key. There's two choices. And when you pick the right choice, your life will change overnight. First week. That's how fast it happens. And it's because this is what they do. And they figured it out. And I'm talking about the people who get up here. They're already there. So they got easy in. How do you become a successful tech entrepreneur? Get into Stanford. You're done. It's over. Unless you screw up. You're already there. You got the credential. Now all you have to do is hustle around and get seen by the right people, and they give you money. You got to learn how to pitch. You got to do the how-to stuff. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to get into this in a minute. And the same in New York City. I saw it. How do you get a job in a big law firm? How do you get a job in a big investment bank? How do you get a job at a hedge fund? How do you get a job in private equity firm? Any of these places, anywhere in the country. You get a business degree in finance from Wharton or Chicago, and you're one of them, and they let you in. And then it's yours to screw up. It's a shortcut, elite shortcut, top 1%. And how do you do that? You spend $500,000 or $1 million or $2 million. Your parents are paying for it, maybe. You start at 5 and you climb the hierarchy. Don't have to do it that way anymore. That's old. How do you get in the media business and succeed? Start in the mailroom. Same with Hollywood. I think Hollywood's a little tougher. DC, same thing. A little tougher, though. DC and Hollywood are kind of unique. I tried to make it in DC, so I get it. And Hollywood is very unique because you have to have talent. At a certain point, it's like you do actually have to have talent. And I know who your dad and your mom is, but we'll pretend because we need them to be in our movie and we want to schmooze it. But DC, the same thing. It's power politics. It's hardball. You got to know how to fight and win to get up. But having a law degree from Yale is a requirement, or London School of Economics, or Johns Hopkins SAIS, School of Advanced International Study. I know all this because I tried to do it. And those are the required. Gallagher, I worked at Gallagher. I was the area vice president in private client insurance. I made up the title. They wanted me to be an account executive. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. How do you get into Gallagher? You know a Gallagher. That's how it works. Doyle or Gallagher. Everybody's name, and they have the same last name. I'm like, where do you go to school? At Miami of Ohio. Oh, where'd you go to school? Loris Cal. They all went to Catholic schools together in the same fraternities. And they grew up together. So these people from Lake Forest, I remember they came in. Gallagher bought their brokerage. They were selling private client insurance. So the minute they hired it, they're going to fire me. I know it. And they did. But I got a paycheck for 6 months. Never happened before in my entire life. And I got a trip to San Francisco and insurance school in New Jersey with the Chubb. It was great. They paid for my car allowance too. It was hilarious. And I got a big title. So I asked the people from Lake Forest, I'm like, how are you doing this? How are you getting all these wealthy families to give you money so they, you can insure them and their businesses? And the answer from this guy, he's like 30 years old. And his dad, he did it with his dad, Lake Forest, Illinois. That's big money. Big houses on the lake, Lake Forest. These people own things, generational wealth too. How'd you do it? We know a lot of private equity people. How do you know a lot of private equity people? And then I thought, oh, you're from Lake Forest. You went to grammar school in Lake Forest. And dad's part of the country club scene, probably. I don't know. That's how you did it. So how do you get up here? Don't go up here. Find your own path up. Or in. The way out is in. The way up is in. What does that mean? We're going to talk about it. How do you do this today? Anybody can do this because it's cheap. It wasn't in the past. You had to go live in Lake Forest, or you had to go to Yale Law School. You don't have to anymore. It's all changed. Look at what's going on with those people. A lot of them are screwed. They've been in the hierarchy for a long time, and now they don't know how to do anything. They're stuck. And the rules have all changed. Now we got a guy president of the United States. He's playing hardball. They're not used to this. It's like negotiating with Paulie from Goodfellas, and they don't know what's going on. They're like, well, but the rules. He's got a baseball bat, and Joe Pesci, and Robert De Niro, and you don't even know what's happening because they're used to the hierarchy. Follow the rules and succeed. Even the entrepreneurs, it's the same thing. We'll sell the company to Google in 5 years. Well, okay. You live in Silicon Valley, you know everybody, and somebody's giving you money that knows all those people, and they're going to make sure they take care of you because they want the money. That's how it works. So how to get around this? How to find your mentors, peers, and partners. There's two pathways. One is I'm going to go it alone or with a networking group or with some people in my level. They think of it as levels. That's wrong, but it's how people think. I get to be at this level and I'm trying to get up to this level with the famous people. I'm going to rise to this level and then I'll succeed. And they're in a group together. And then what do? They hire coaches and nothing happens. They learn some skills. Think about it like this. Think about sports, professional sports. What does a coach do in professional sports? It teaches skills. Batting, there's a batting coach, there's a running coach, there's a hitting coach, there's a kicking the ball coach, there's all kinds of coaches. There's a coach psychologist, how to be married to somebody when you're on the road all the time. They got those it's a coaching, it's structure, infrastructure. So you need coaches for stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. So these people in these groups hire coaches without knowing what they even need. Or if they know what they need, they get coaching on it. You go from here to here. That is not how the top people in the world do this. Once they get there, getting there is not easy, but you can get there today because everything's cheap. And how do you get there? You find your mentors, peers, and partners, not coaches. Coaches is part of it. We have 6 coaches that focus on business traction on our platform. 6. You get access to all 6. You don't even have to know which ones you need. We'll help you figure that out in the first week. That's the 7-day guest pass. The 7-day guest pass is to help you figure out what you need in the campus. 90-day quick start, or do you need 12 months? What do you need? We ask you the question. There you get first thing you do, you get an email. Why are you here? What's your vision? What are you trying to do? It's not a sales pitch. It's a mentor, peer, and partner pitch, which isn't a pitch ever. Nobody at the top of these hierarchies is sold anything. They're supported by who? They got a coaching team that can afford all of it, or the company pays. That's one thing, because they're in the hierarchy. So everyone's investing in them. What do they do? What are the ones in those groups that actually really get to the top? Because still got to earn it. You're going to be a managing partner of a big law firm. You still got to earn it. I don't know why you'd want to be. Look what's going on with these people right now. They've been compromising for money their entire lives. That's what they did. From the time they were really young, they compromised who they are for money, prestige, and success and security in the hierarchical systems of society. And now it's falling apart on them because there's a lot of people around there not playing by those rules. They're like, oh, we have different rules. We got baseball bats and knives and chainsaws. Now they're like, oh, I didn't know this world. Of course that world exists. Now you get to play in it. Or you won't have any money. So you decide. I don't have to do that. And you don't either. Let them fight that battle. If they don't know how to get out, they can fight that battle and win or lose. They're going to win or lose. It's a win or lose hardball game. What is possible for us? Bottom 99%. To stay off the x-axis. That's what we want. We don't want to be stuck in the x-axis. That's the sea of sameness. That's the same coaching program as everybody else. You're taking the same program. You're doing the same thing as everybody else. You're stuck on the x-axis and you know it. Sometimes you get up here and you're like, oh, finally, I'm at 30 grand a month. I'm at 5 grand a month. Thank God I'm at 100 grand a month. You're still just here, slipping back. I know this because this happened to me. How do you get up here? Get the life you really want. Business traction and personal acceleration. Mentor, peer, and partner team. Who is the mentor, peer, and partner team for these 1% people? The best people in the world. They get the best brand coach. They get the best social media coach. They get the best content coach. They get the best financial advisory. They get the best technology advice. They take it for granted, a lot of them, because they grew up with that. It's just to them, well, of course, doesn't everybody? No, Most of us are scrambling around trying to find answers to things. And you get to the top of these hierarchies, you buy whatever you want. And they're teaching you could get to the top of the hierarchy like me, and then you can have the life I have. Do you believe that is possible? It's never, because we're not grading on a curve. Life is not graded on a curve. It's graded on who are you? What's your vision? Where are you going? And how are you going to get there? What are you going to do? What's your impact you're going to make? Without a mentor, peer, and partner group, I would have failed with this initiative that began 5 years ago. If I'd stuck in that coaching stuff, I would have failed. It wasn't good enough. 150 grand. 150 grand later, I knew a lot about content. I knew a lot about signature stages. I knew a lot about signature methods. I knew a lot about how to run a group coaching program. I knew a lot about social media and how to get seen on social media. I knew a lot about mindset. I knew a lot about all of it. Didn't work to get me. I'm still here and I'm good at this stuff. I've been doing it my whole life since I can track it back to 5, 7, but really 21. When I started building companies and succeeding in my own terms, my own way, hard way. I did it. I've done it over and over and over again. And I don't want to do that anymore because I didn't want to keep sliding back with the change in technology, the change in markets. It's like, I'm done. I don't want to, I'm not going to climb social media mountain again. I'm not going to do it. What's another way? Well, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the other way. Mentors, peers, and partners. There's two sides. There's business traction and personal acceleration. What is personal acceleration? It's the core of it. But without the business traction skills, you're going to fail in the market. Without the personal acceleration, you're going to go the wrong direction, or you're going to create so much havoc for yourself, you're going to get stuck here. And you're never going to get up here where you want. What is this up here? It's not getting up here. There is no up here. It's flow. I call it fluidity when you really get there. Flow is when it's conditional. You still got to do what you love. You still got to be. Fluidity is when it doesn't matter what happens. You own yourself. That's freedom. That's liberation. That's where I got. And it took a while. I couldn't have done it without mentors, peers, and partners. And this group that I've got right now, I know everybody's skill set because I've worked with everybody in this group. And if I didn't get a real result from working with them, they wouldn't be here. Excellence matters to me and high quality product. That's what's always worked for me. I know that. You can funnel people and get traffic all you want, but if the end of the traffic is just a back door opening and you fly out and into the alley and end up next to a dumpster wondering what the hell happened, nothing changed, or you're just where you were when you started, and then it's like somebody else, oh, upsell, oh, you got to go to the private group. All the good stuff's in the private group. That's what I'm saying. It is. And even some of those private groups I've been in, they're not so great. They're networking groups for people who want to meet other famous people so they can network. That's why they're there. I was in a group like this in LA called Metal. The only reason I was there was to network. And that's why I dropped out after a year. I felt bad because they cared about each other. And I'm like, I don't care about this. I don't need a men's group. I've already done this. I need to meet people who have leverage, and they're in those groups. But I couldn't do it. Mentors, peers, and partners got me through, and I don't need them anymore. That's why I quit after a year, even though I was grandfathered in at a lower rate. And that's when I learned it's like, no, I don't have to do that anymore because I got my mentors, peers, and partners teams. And every single day, I can engage with, right now, 12 world-class business traction and personal acceleration experts, coaches, and consultants every day. I got a legal issue, I got somewhere to go. Tax issue, somewhere to go. I got a technology issue, somewhere to go. I have 100% confidence in these people. 100%. They've never coached me once. Never. I'm not saying coaching's bad. I'm saying if you're hitting, you're playing basketball, you're swimming, you're playing volleyball, every once in a while, the coach is like, or golf, yeah, you're turning your shoulder, Tiger. He got coaches too, the best in the world. Who was his mentor? His dad, Earl. was his mentor. He knew the inner game. It's all the inner game. Those are the mentors. My mentor, Jed Jacobs. I've had mentors. I didn't know the difference because I'd never had a coach until 2020. And I'm like, it's different. Jed told me I have no business skills. First conversation, he says, what are your business skills? And I told him all my accomplishments. And he says, so you don't have any business skills? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I've done all. He says, you're self-taught. Oh, he says, you don't have any business skills. That's why you're having such a hard time writing a presentation. He says, you're making it up as you go along. They have a way of thinking. I'll show you how to do it. So now he went into coaching, but he was a mentor. Why? Because he's an expert. He ran companies. He went to Wharton, and then he ran Japanese companies, big ones in the United States. $1,000 a month. What was his signature program? Call me. We'll figure it out. That's what I want to do with my private client stuff. And I don't want a ton of those clients, just a handful. And they got to be entrepreneurs, the real variety, not the technology Silicon Valley types. You could go to your incubators and have fun and get people to fund you. I'm not interested. I got a feeling inside, my mindset's screwed up. I sit in the room with Judy yesterday and I'm fine immediately. I didn't even have to do her program stuff, her Psych K. I've done it, but that's, you just sit in the room with her once a week. I'm like, oh, I'm good now. I got an issue feeling like I'm holding myself back. It's a prosperity thing. People talk about money, prosperity. It's a feeling. I text Louisa. I'm done. Go sit in a room with her. I'm fine. Brian, every day. Talk to Brian every day. I'm feeling the fear stuff coming. Talk to Brian. It's gone. He knows how to do it energetically. And now Jess coming on. Talk about energetic power. Jess Sclanes, world class, third generation shaman teachings in her family. People talk about energy coaching and energy. She knows how to do it for real. I know the difference. I've been doing energy work for 30 years. Tai Chi and now Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee stuff. I know the difference. I know when somebody's talking about it, when somebody actually can do it. And I can go on and on. I'm not going to mention everybody by name, but we're going to go from 12 to 24. I got Rick Meekins now doing our business strategy for Friday. You could sit in a room once a week with Rick. This is an ambassador. He's a founding ambassador. He's the best strategist I've ever met. There's other great ones. Who are they working with? People like Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Andreessen. They can hire the best people in the world. However, they often don't do a good job of working with them. Have you noticed? You think Elon Musk listens to his coaches? Do you think Elon Musk coaches tell him the truth? Or his mentor? He doesn't have any mentors. He doesn't have any peers or partners either. He has people who tell him what he wants to hear. They follow him around. This is what happens with some of these people. They're terrified of everything. In other words, seeing the truth. We're going to help you with that. Learn how to listen to yourself. You people give you advice. They start talking at you, these coaches from the stages and stuff. You're not going to learn anything because it's like being in a tractor beam. Napoleon Hill called this hypnotic rhythm. That's not a good place to be. You're in hypnotic rhythm. You're stuck like this. You know who else is in hypnotic rhythm? A lot of those stage coaches and the marketers. They are. They know their stuff. They can teach you A to Z, but they think they know more. So they're getting out of their box. They're not experts like Jed Jacobs was in business. He'd done it all. He CEO'd companies. He did consulting. He went to Wharton. But he didn't just go to Wharton. Just because you go to Wharton doesn't mean you know what you're doing. I know people who taught in business schools who don't know anything about marketing. They taught marketing. They know marketing. They could say stuff about marketing, but they've never succeeded doing marketing anywhere. And they're teaching in a business school, MBA program. People I've known. You got to figure this out. I got it. We're curating it. There'll be 24 people on this campus you can have engagements with every week, every day. and there'll be 12 founding partners, best in the world too, at the thing they do. So it's curated. And we're going to have home groups with pages for the home groups in home industry and in the financial services and insurance industry. There'll be a home group in healthcare and medicine. There'll be a home group in everything. And overseas connections with people overseas who can do real supporting work, so your business stability is stable. So you don't have to scramble around and figure out all this technology crap. We already done it for you. AI, you don't have to learn to use AI. We're going to use AI with you. You're going to have an AI tuned model. It costs nothing. The AI is almost free. It's free. And cheap. I don't know how they're going to make any money doing that unless they sell it to somebody else who ends up getting the hot potato when the financials collapse. Everybody's talking about AI. I'm like, it's cheap. Who's going to pay for that? You can turn it into an ad network, media company, platform like Google. It's not going to happen. It's different. So I don't know. That's above my pay grade. I'm just looking at it. And I'm like, I wouldn't want to be in that business. Yeah, if you're an investor, you figure it out. They know how to play that game. They extract a lot of money, sell it to somebody else. So this week was incredible. It was fun. We're busy in the first phase of the campus, and soon the pilot of the local home group will open in Skokie, Evanston. We have a meeting with the pilot group on Friday. And I'm not talking about regular people. I'm talking about a top managing broker at the largest real estate company in the United States. I'm talking about a woman who is the leading healthcare broker in the state of Illinois and has been in the ambassador programs with all these big carriers. I'm talking about this younger entrepreneur who owns a production company, and they have a weekly show on the local Fox channel on the home industry, top builders and stuff. This is not small potatoes stuff. It's big leagues mentors, peers, and partners system. And you have access to this. I find the best people in the world to work with. And I had 2.5 years there of not having that because of the coaching industry online. And I needed to go in, I needed to figure it out. I needed to pay people money to learn some skills. And it led basically to realizing that's not a good model for regular people. It's too expensive. You got to figure out what the hell they're talking about. And they give you a lot of advice and how-to steps. And that's never worked for me. And I've noticed it doesn't work for a lot of other people too. And when I talk to people, they're frustrated. So we've created a better system. And that's what this is about. Find your way, be an authority, be a real authority. We'll help you become a real authority because you already are. You just have to open that up and know how to bring that out into the market. You spend some time with Mark and Mike, you won't be able to fail. They're that good, both of them. They're that good. Maria, I'll help you with the branding. They're that good. I wouldn't do this if they weren't. I'd keep looking. Leave the marketing to the professionals. It's too hard. Use your real experience and observations to create a great product. And most importantly, find your board of directors. And I'm not talking about a group of coaches that are going to tell you what to do because they have a signature stage and a reciprocity agreement between them. So you go in the room with them and they're all on stage talking at you about how great everything is. And you can do it too. It won't work. Doesn't work. Works for them and the top 1% who are in their private circles. Works great for them. It doesn't work for anybody else. Everyone else, they're stuck on this. My purpose in life is to help people realize their vision on their own terms. It's the only reason I exist on this planet. I didn't go through all this crap for this many years and this much pain and struggle and suffering and success just to do that. So this thing's ready to go. Don't be afraid. Opening day was March 24th. So redpillpathway.com/